सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. We are in chapter 6 and completed up to 23rd sloka. Now we will quickly do the recap of the previous topics and then go forward. In the previous class, Bhagavan defined the samadhi in 7 ways. 7 different definitions of samadhi Krishna Paramatma has given. The first definition of samadhi was Chitta Uparamanam. Chitta Uparamanam means withdrawing the sense organs and the mind. Mainly, the mind is outward. The sense organs are outward. So, we have to restrain the sensory organs and also the mind, and then turn them inward. Inward means towards the Atma. This is what we called, this antarmukhatvam is called Chitta Uparamanam. Then Atma Darsanam is the second definition of Samadhi. Atma Darsanam means when you are whole and complete, when you have that Purnatva Siddhi, Aham Purnaha Asmi, in that reality if you are living, then you don't lack anything. You don't lack anything. So, in that Purnatva Siddhi, you have to look at yourself, your real self, that is Atma, Atma Darsanam. Then, third one is Atyantika Sukham. Atyantika Sukham means the Samadhi will give you the ultimate happiness. Ultimate happiness you will get because you acknowledge and you realize that you are the real Ananda Swarupa. All the Anandas, all the joys that you get locally is only temporary and transient. They come and go. They are all koshanandas. The ananda you get from people, the ananda you get from places, events, and so on, they are all temporary. They are not atyantika ananda because they are the reflections of your own real self. That is the Ananda Swarupam. So once you realize you are that very Swarupa, you don't require any support to get that Ananda reflected. You know that it is your real self. So that itself is the Atyantika Anandam or Atyantika Sukham. Then Tattvanishta. Tattvanishta or Sthita Prajñatvam. Once you understand your real self, you stay in that nishta. Once you understand your real self, you stay in that reality. You should not slip down. So that state of staying in that Atmanishta 24/7 is called Tattvanishta or Sthita Prajñatvam. So this is the fourth definition of Samadhi. Then the fifth definition is Atyantika Labham. Atyantika Labham means whatever the benefit, whatever the prayojanam you get locally, they are all inferior to the Atmanandam. Atmanandam or Atmasukham is the ultimate and final labham anybody can get. There is nothing superior to this. So, atyantika labham you get, and this atyantika labham is one definition of samadhi. Then atyantika dukkha nivritti. Atyantika dukkha nivritti means once you know that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the senses, when you realize that your real swarupa is Atma, then you are free from all the local dukkhams, all the local agitations and troubles and tribulations. Because whatever the calamity, whatever the problem, however intense it is, they all belong to the body, mind, sense complex. All the problems. But your real self is not the body, mind, sense complex. So, guna guneshu varthante. It's a part and parcel of this body, mind, sense complex. Since we are transacting in this body, mind, sense complex, the related problems are also the part and parcel of it. So, when you know that you are not the body, mind, sense complex, then the problems pertaining to body, mind, sense complex are not yours. So, you have a distance between the body problems and your real self. So, this gives you a great space. This gives you a great inner freedom. So that inner freedom is called atyantika dukkha nivritti. All mental problems relating to the physical problems or the problems pertaining to body, mind, sense complex will go away. So this is the sixth definition. Then the seventh definition is, the seventh definition of samadhi is dukkha samyoga viyogam. So detachment with the attachment of dukkham. So we are always attached to dukkham because we are attached to the body, mind, sense complex. The body, mind, sense complex is bound to have dukkham, bound to have sorrow. So since you detach yourself with body, mind, sense complex, you are also detached with the dukkham pertaining to it. So that means dukkha samyoga viyogam. So it is detachment from the attachment of dukkham. So this is what Paramatma described. To give you in short, the first definition is chitta uparamanam. Second definition of samadhi is atma darshanam. Atyantika sukham is the third definition. Fourth definition is tattvanishta or sthita prajnata. Fifth one, atyantika labham. And sixth definition of samadhi is atyantika dukkha nivritti. The seventh and the final definition is dukkha samyoga viyogam. So now we will proceed to sloka number 24. saṅkalpaprabhavānkāmāṃstyaktvā sarvānaśeṣataḥ manasaivendriyagrāmaṃ viniyamya samantataḥ. Saṅkalpaprabhavān means born out of fancies. Sarvān kāmān, all desires. Aśeṣataḥ tyaktvā, having completely given up. manasaivendriyagrāmaṃ samantataḥ viniyamya. By the mind, the group of sense organs from all directions one should restrain. Saṅkalpaprabhavān sarvān kāmān aṣeṣataḥ tyaktvā manasaivendriyagrāmaṃ samantataḥ viniyamya. Having completely given up all desires born out of fancies, one should restrain the group of sense organs from all directions by the mind. So there are various words used like sarvān kāmāṃ tyaktvā. Sarvān kāmāṃ tyaktvā means, here the kama means, desire means, what type of desires? Future plans and expectations, future expectations. We are expert planners. We always plan the next moment, next moment, next moment, like that. We always live in the future. Rarely we live in the present. As somebody said, a person constantly lives in absentia. He is not there right now, because today I am living in tomorrow mentally. That means today I am not even aware. I am doing what? Preparing for tomorrow. And tomorrow what will I do? Prepare for day after tomorrow. So like that we spend the whole life, and finally we'll come to the fag end of the life. Then Yamadharmaraja comes and he wants to take you away. Then you say, I have been preparing all along. I have never lived. He says, Yamadharmaraja says, you can talk about it in the next janma. Come with me, come along. So like that, our life is totally wasted and misused by mere planning alone. Saṅkalpaprabhavān. Saṅkalpaprabhavān means the power of thoughts. The power of thoughts is, it is like this. Any thought in the beginning is not powerful. It is always feeble. A thought arises in the mind like a small ripple. It is always feeble. It becomes full-fledged wave. A ripple becomes a full-fledged wave by wind. If you watch in the sea, you can see that a small ripple becomes big by the blow of air. So similarly, the small and feeble thought enters the mind, and we keep nourishing it. We give branches to that thought. We add so many vrittis to that thought and make it a big tree. So the first thought is not in your choice, but the second thought onwards you can always have a control. Second thought, you don't nourish the thought if it is not a desirable thought. You can filter it then and there and nip it in the bud. So this way you can have a control on your mind. Saṅkalpaprabhavān sarvān kāmān aṣeṣataḥ tyaktvā. So by avoiding, by restraining all thoughts which are born out of sankalpas. So this is possible only when you notice your first thought and nip it in the bud. You don't allow the thought to grow with more and more thoughts. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha Kamat krodho bijayate. In the second chapter, Paramatma gave a beautiful example how this desire grows. So a person, he meditates on the Vishaya Vastu. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. Vishaya Vastu means for all five Indriyas, there are five different Vishaya Vastus. For eyes, the Vishaya Vastus are, the colors and forms. For ears, it is the sounds. For tongue, it is the taste. So like that, the mind is so much lured and it starts meditating on Vishaya Vastu. So, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. So by meditating on Vishaya Vastu, sangasteshu pajayate. So he gets gelled with that Vishaya Vastu. Sangat sanjayate kama. With that attachment, the desire is, the outcome. The desire comes because of the attachment. So I want it. I want. That wanting tambura sruti starts. So if the want is fulfilled, you get one more desire. If the want is not fulfilled, then you get angry on the person or on the situation, and it triggers the anger in you. So Kamat krodho bijayate, krodha bijayate. So this is what Paramatma told. So indriyagrāmaṃ viniyamya. Withdraw the sense organs which are the gateways through which external world enters your mind and disturbs you. Close the gate so that external world does not enter your mind. Therefore, manasaivendriyagrāmaṃ. Therefore, manasaivendriyagrāmaṃ means you can restrain your sensory organs, your indriyas, only through mind. You cannot achieve this by shutting your mind or, blanking your mind. Only use your buddhi or mind to control your sense organs. Manasaivendriyagrāmaṃ, with the help of mind only. Indriyagrāmaṃ. Indriyagrāmaṃ means the group of sense organs. Gramam means group. The word gramam in the local parlance is a village. Village is a cluster of people, cluster of houses. Therefore, it is called gramam. Gramam means group. Here, indriyagrāmaṃ means the group of or cluster of indriyas we can control. How you can control? Samantataḥ, completely, for good, totally. By what? By mind only. How you have to do? That Paramatma is explaining in the next sloka. We'll see sloka number 25. śanairuparamedbuddhyā dhṛtigṛhītayā ātmasaṃsthaṃ manaḥ kṛtvā na kiñcidapi cintayet. Śanaiḥ. Śanaiḥ means gradually, slowly. Uparamet, one should withdraw the mind. How? Buddhyā. Buddhyā means by the intellect. dhṛtigṛhītayā, which is endowed firmly with the mind. dhṛtigṛhītayā kṛtvā manaḥ, having made the mind firm and not wavering, we can achieve this. ātmasaṃsthaṃ manaḥ kṛtvā. ātmasaṃsthaṃ manaḥ kṛtvā means you have to give a direction. When the mind is restrained from the sensory organs, the mind is quiet. But then you cannot keep it quiet for more time, because it is the very nature of the mind to run around. So you have to give a direction to the mind. So channelize the mind. How you channelize the mind? Show the mind the Atma. You know the Atma Lakshanas, then entertain the Atmakara Vritti. When you entertain the Atmakara Vritti, the mind is engaged on Atma. So when it is about to fall or about to slip from the Atmakara Vritti, give another thought. So that, it continues in the same thought again and again. So this way, you have to see that the mind is settled with Atmanishta. Na kiñcidapi cintayet. Don't entertain any other thought. That means you have to allow the Atmakara vrittis in many ways. There are so many lakshanas you have studied. So one after the other you can entertain and see that the mind is filled with Atmakara vritti. dhṛtigṛhītayā buddhyā śanairuparamedbuddhyā manaḥ ātmasaṃsthaṃ kṛtvā kiñcidapi na cintayet. One should withdraw the mind gradually by intellect, which is endowed with a strong will. Having made the mind abide in Atma, one should not think of anything else. In Shastra, we have learnt Arundhati Nakshatra Nyayam and Sakha Chandra Nyayam. So, in that Arundhati Nakshatra Nyayam, we slowly move from grosser to subtler. So that 7 stars are there, a constellation. So in that, we keep moving from one star to another, and finally it is a constellation in the shape of a kite. We start with that rectangular part and then move towards the tail, and in the middle of the tail we have a bright star. By the side of the bright star there is a feeble star which is called Arundhati. So like that we slowly move from grosser to subtler. So this technique we use it for Panchakosha Vivekam. Panchakosha Vivekam means first we'll see the very body itself. That is Annamaya Kosham. And we realize this Annamaya Kosham is Jadam and it is Panchabhautikam, and it cannot, it has become sentient by borrowing the sentience from Atma. So Annamaya Kosha is not Atma. There is some other Kosha which is interior and which is subtler than this. That is Pranamaya Kosha. We apply the same logic. Pranamaya Kosha is also not sentient on its own. So there is one more Kosha interior to this and more subtler. That is Manomaya Kosham. And Manomaya Kosham is also Jadam. And there is one more Kosham called Vijnanamaya Kosham, which is more interior and more subtler. Then we'll question and analyze whether Vijnanamaya Kosham is Atma or not. Then we realize that Vijnanamaya Kosham is also not Atma, because this is also Jadam, and there is one more Kosham which is interior to this and more subtler, that is Anandamaya Kosham. And after Anandamaya Kosham, there is no further travel. We realize we are getting this Anandam. When this Kosham is Jadam, still we are getting Anandam here, because there is a a tattvam, a principle called Atma, which is ever present and which makes this Anandamaya Kosha happy. So, this Atma Sakshi, the witnessing consciousness, is the real Atma, and that is my very Swarupa. So, that's how you, śanaiḥ, in a slow and steady manner, you analyze one after the other and get into the Atma. So, uparamet, one should gradually withdraw the mind from anatma, all objects. Because in this meditation, we want to dwell upon the very subject itself. So here, the meditation is on the meditator. Meditation is not on an object outside, but it is on the meditator himself. I want to dwell upon my own nature. There are three things, three objects we have to slowly overcome and get into the Atma. The first object is external world, because it is an object of my experience. Anything I experience is not myself. That is dhṛtigṛhītayā. If I am experiencing, it is not me. I am experiencing this hall, I am not the hall. I am experiencing this jagat, I am not the jagat. Jagat is different from me. That is the logic. So, there are three objects of experience. The first and foremost one is the world itself. The second object is my own physical body. I experience my physical body also, which is also an object of experience. So, I am not the world, I am not the body. Then, the world is object of experience, the body is object of experience, even the mind is an object of experience. Because I know the moods of the mind, I know the changes in the mind. So I am experiencing the mind also. So I am not the mind. So if I am not the world, if I am not the body, if I am not the mind, then who am I? I am that witnessing consciousness principle, the awareness principle. So, this way you understand and try to meditate on that. It takes time. You can come to body perhaps very easy. Even when it comes to the body now and then, it will go to the people around, your son, your daughter-in-law. For that matter, it can go to your pet dog also, and it will not allow you to do the meditation. Sometimes it keeps you hover around your depressions, your fears, your anger, your hatred, your jealous, all your emotions, they hover around in the meditation, your anxiety. So they are all what? They are the things in the mind. That is why the moment you sit in meditation, all kinds of worries come. So they are all lying there, which I have been ignoring when I am wakeful. So you have to sit and meditate and handle these things very carefully. The first thought of the emotion, if it is not sajatiya vritti towards Atma, you don't nourish it. So you can truncate all different thoughts and allow sajatiya vritti pravahaha. Only the atmakara vrittis you have to allow. This is what we call dhṛtigṛhītayā. Dhṛtigṛhītayā means you have to continue your meditation until you achieve the target. So as you practice, it becomes very natural. So ātmasaṃsthaṃ manaḥ kṛtvā. Ātmasaṃsthaṃ manaḥ kṛtvā means once you are settled with Atma, you have to keep meditating on the various lakshanas of Atma. I am different from the body. I am the consciousness principle. I am all pervading and pervading this body, and I give consciousness to this body. I am not only within this body, but also outside this body. In fact, all these bodies are within me. I am nirgunaha, aham nirgunaha, aham nishkalaha, aham nityaha, aham niranjanaha, aham nirankaraha, aham nirvikalpa chaitanyaha asmi. So all these definitions he thoroughly learns from his guru, and he can pick up any one of them in the meditation and start contemplating on the attribute of that Atma Lakshanam. Say for example, I am asangaha. I am asangaha means I am not tainted, I am not affected by anything around, like akasham. Akasham is asangam. Though it is all pervading, it includes everything. Avakasa pradatru akashaha. So, the attributes of the things around are not the attributes of Atma. Because Atma is asangaha. I am asangaha means the body, mind, sense complex is within me. All the bodies are within me. So, the pains, the problems, and the agitations, the jealousy, all the attributes of the body, mind, sense complex, the relations, the properties of the body, mind, sense complex are pertaining to body, mind, sense complex, not to me, because I am asangaha. As Atma, I am asangaha. So then why are you calling so-and-so as your son, your daughter, and why you have a bank account? It is pretty good because I am transacting in the transactional world. While transacting in the transactional world, I need all this. Back of my mind, 24/7, I am asangaha. So like this you have to contemplate. So I don't get any old age because Atma, asangaha, is not pertaining to the body. So whatever the problems of the body, mind, sense complex, the BMS will die one day. But as Atma, I don't die. So this gives me a lot of strength and courage so that I don't have the fears when I am transacting in this world. And I have a lot of inner space, inner freedom to deal happily and live happily in this world. ātmasaṃsthaṃ manaḥ kṛtvā na kiñcidapi cintayet. Na kiñcidapi cintayet means having settled, having stayed in that reality, you don't allow any other thought to enter your mind. So you have to allow only sajatiya vritti pravahaha. You have to only entertain the atmakara vritti, not other vrittis. So this is what we say. And then 26th sloka will see. Yato yato nischarati manaschancalamassthiram tatastato niyamyaitat ātmaņeva vasam nayet. So, nayet etat chanchalam. Nayet means one should bring back. Chanchalam, the fickle, astiram manaha, unsteady mind. Vasam atmani eva, under the control of oneself. Here the atmani means oneself. Under the control of oneself. Niyamya, by restraining, tataha, from those objects, tataha, from those objects, yataha, due to which, nischarati, the mind goes away. So one should bring back this fickle, unsteady mind under control of oneself by restraining from those objects due to which the mind goes out. Somebody said, you don't think of monkeys when you meditate. So this person sits and when he closes the eyes, all different kinds of monkeys, they keep entering and they disturb. So whatever you don't want to do, your mind will do. That is mind. So your relations, your problems, your success, your failure, everything, they get into your mind and distract you from your atmakara vritti. So you should not allow this fickle mind to hover around. You have to have a control. You have to have a kind of check on the mind and then bring back the mind onto Atma. Chanchalam astiram manaha yataha nischarati. Tataha etad viniyamya atmani eva vasam nayet. So you have to have the control of the mind. Paramatma gives a similar slokam in the same chapter, that is 34. We haven't come to 34 yet. Chanchalam hi manak kṛtvā, chanchalam hi manak krishna pramadhi balavadrudam, tasyaham nigraham manye, vayoriva sudushkuram. Vayoriva sudushkaram. Just like wind, you cannot hold wind. In the same way, to control the mind is a very difficult task. It is chanchalam. It is always, wavering and vacillating. It always, the mind always wavers and vacillates. Chanchalam manah nischarati. So its nature is to hover and to run around. It always, make you roam all over the world. So if you sit in the meditation, some car horn you hear, and then suddenly you remember you wanted to buy a car. Then you start thinking, what car should I buy? The previous car is not good, so I have to change the company. What is the best car in the market? What is our neighbor's car? So all these thoughts, they keep pouring into your mind just because of the car horn outside. So your meditation becomes a car dhyanam, not the atma dhyanam. So yataha, whatever the object the mind wants to hover on, you have to keep a check, and then tataha niyamya. From that, you should not nourish that thought. You have to bring back the mind back to Atma. Atmani eva vasam nayet. You have to bring it back to Atma and continue your akhandakara vritti. This you have to practice. This is called akhandakara vritti abhyasam. Then the 27th. Prasanta manasam henam yoginam sukhamuttamam Upaiti shantarajasam brahmabhutamakalmasham. Ki enam yoginam. Indeed, this yogi, uttamam sukham, supreme ananda upaiti. He gets the ultimate ananda. He gets the extreme ananda. Akalmasham, who is free from impurities, whose agitations have subsided. Prashanta manasam, whose mind is totally tranquil. Brahma bhutam, who has become Brahma. Prashanta manasam, shantarajasam, akalmasham, Brahma bhutam. Yenam yoginam hi uttamam sukham upaiti. The supreme ananda, the ultimate ananda, comes to this yogi who is free from impurities, whose agitations have subsided totally, whose mind is totally tranquil, who has become Brahman, who is one with Brahman. What will be the result of this practice? The nididhyasanam. So, Paramatma is giving you the dhyana phalam and mentions in these verses. Prashanta manasam hi yenam uttamam sukham upaiti. The benefit of this meditation is the highest peace. Highest peace, atyantika anandam, this person gets. Whoever does this nididhyasanam is entitled to the atyantika anandam. Uttamam sukham means the greatest peace. The peace which is not determined by the external conditions or any other type of peace. I enjoyed because I keep adding. I add. As long as I add to get pleasure or to get anandam, that is conditional peace or conditional happiness. The conditional peace or conditional happiness is not the real happiness or real peace. This is the Vedantic lesson that you should always remember. Anything conditional is fake. If you say, I am secure because there is money, that condition is money. Vedanta calls it conditional security. Conditional security is not a real security. Because it may go anytime. It may not stay with you for good. Similarly, the conditional happiness, conditional fulfillment, the benefit of meditation is unconditional peace, unconditional happiness, unconditional security. That is why if someone asks a jnani, you are always happy, why you are happy? What is the reason? He says, I am happy because it is my very swarupa. If you ask a fire, why you are hot? What will it say? It is my nature. To be hot is my nature. So similarly, a jnani's nature is to be happy because he himself realized that he is the Ananda Swarupa. He doesn't require anything to get happiness because he realized that he himself is the Ananda Swarupa. That is the very nature of a sthita prajna. When you look at the world in four different stages. This is what the psychologists say. There are four stages. If you look at this world, you understand the world undergoes four stages. In the first stage, you say that you are okay, I'm not okay. All the problems I only have, you don't have any problem. That is stage one. In the second stage, he says, you are not okay, I am okay. So he says, I am fine, but you have problems. That is second stage. Third stage, he says, you are not okay, I am not okay. Fourth stage is the stage where he understands philosophically and enjoys that purnatvam. He says, you are okay, I am okay, the world is okay. So this is the fourth stage. If you look at the business people, two people, they started a business. For one person, the first person, he had an expectation of getting 5% profit. The second person had an expectation of 15% profit. So they got 10% profit in that year. So the first person expectation is 5%, whereas he got 10%. So he is happy. He is rejoicing. The second person, he expected 15%, but he got only 10%. So he is unhappy. He is feeling bad about the situation. The situation is same. Situation is same for both. One person feels happy, the other person feels unhappy. So the happiness is within you. Happiness is not outside. Santarajasam, Jnani's mind is full of tranquility. Because he could avoid all rajasika vritti, all agitative kind of emotions he could avoid. Your neighbor gets good marks and your son doesn't get, then you feel jealous. So this kind of things are not there in him. Santarajasam, all rajasic kinds of emotions he could avoid. This he could achieve by meditation. Akalmasham. Akalmasham means all tamasic, all kinds of tamasic means a very harmful kind of emotions are avoided. In Panchadasi, Vidyaranya Swami, Sattvika Vritti, the Sattvic thoughts as the Santa Vritti, Rajasic thought as Ghora Vritti, Tamasika Vritti as a Moda Vritti, the Vritti of an ignorant person. Brahma Bhutam. Brahma Bhutam means he becomes one with Brahma. Whenever this word one with Brahma means, you should not think that this idea that he is different from Brahma and he united with Brahma. Whenever we say that Brahma Bhutam, when he becomes Brahma, the word becomes here is he removed the notional distance between himself and the Brahma. Atma or Brahma is Siddham. It is not a Sadhya Vastu. So you are ever free. Only thing is you should realize and understand and stay in that Nishtha. So Brahma Bhutam means having removed that notional distance between himself and Brahma, he enjoyed the Atmanishta status and started having that Jivan Mukti, and the balance of his life is all a happy life. More we will learn in the next class. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.